What if everything you thought you knew about intelligence was wrong? How to Become Smarter will shatter your misconceptions and show you how to outthink, outsmart, and outshine anyone, using science-backed techniques and powerful mental strategies. Ready to unlock the secret formula for becoming the smartest person in the room? Dive in and discover how to turbocharge your brain and achieve unstoppable success. Chapter 1: The Science of Intelligence. Welcome to the exciting world of intelligence. You may have heard people say things like, "She's a genius," or "He's not that bright," as if intelligence is a one-size-fits-all label. But here's a fun fact to start with: intelligence is way more complex and fascinating than just being smart or dumb. It's like a huge puzzle with many pieces, and everyone has their own unique combination. So let's break it down and explore what intelligence really is, how our brains work, and why everyone has the potential to become smarter. What is intelligence, really? When most people think of intelligence, they usually think of IQ, or intelligence quotient, a number that's supposed to tell you how smart you are. But IQ is just one piece of the puzzle. It measures things like logical reasoning, problem-solving skills, and understanding complex ideas. Sure, it's important, but it doesn't capture the whole picture. Enter EQ, or emotional intelligence. EQ is your ability to understand, manage, and use your emotions to communicate effectively, empathize with others, and handle conflicts. It's that people smarts factor that allows some individuals to connect deeply with others, diffuse tense situations, and lead with compassion. Then there's creativity, a different kind of intelligence that allows you to think outside the box, come up with innovative solutions, and see possibilities where others see limitations. The point is, intelligence is more like a spectrum with many different colors, and everyone's mind is a beautiful blend of these colors. How does the brain learn and retain information? Imagine your brain as a super efficient filing system. When you learn something new, your brain creates a new file for that information and stores it. When you want to recall it, your brain pulls out that file. But here's the catch: your brain only keeps files it considers useful. That's why you might remember the lyrics to your favorite song from 10 years ago, but forget where you left your keys yesterday. This is where neuroplasticity comes in. Neuroplasticity is a fancy word that means your brain is constantly changing, adapting, and creating new connections. Every time you practice a skill or learn a new fact, your brain strengthens those connections, making it easier for you to access that information in the future. Think of it like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. The good news: it's never too late to train your brain. Whether you're 8 or 80, your brain can still grow, adapt, and learn. So, if you want to become smarter, the key is to keep challenging your brain with new information and skills. The many types of intelligence, a quick tour. You might be wondering, if intelligence isn't just about IQ, then what else is there? That's where Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences comes in. Gardner, a psychologist, suggested that there are actually 8 different types of intelligence. Which ones resonate with you? Linguistic intelligence, love playing with words? This one's for poets, writers, and storytellers. Logical mathematical intelligence, enjoy solving puzzles or figuring out how things work. You've got logical intelligence. Spatial intelligence, great with visualizing things? Architects, artists, and pilots excel here. Musical intelligence, got rhythm? This one's for those who can create and understand music effortlessly. Bodily kinesthetic intelligence, dancers, athletes, and craftspeople who use their bodies skillfully fall into this category. Interpersonal intelligence, people with high interpersonal intelligence are excellent communicators and can easily understand others' emotions. Intrapersonal intelligence, this is about understanding oneself, your own emotions, fears, and motivations. Naturalistic intelligence, people with this intelligence are in tune with nature and often excel in fields like biology, farming, or animal care. Gardner's theory helps us see that being smart isn't limited to solving math problems or writing essays. You might be a musical genius or a natural-born athlete, and that's just as valid a form of intelligence as any other. Myth-busting. Common misconceptions about intelligence. It's time to debunk some myths. First up, you're either born smart or you're not. This couldn't be further from the truth. Intelligence isn't a fixed trait, it's something you can develop over time through learning and practice. Second, the idea that people who do well in school are smarter is also misleading. While academic success is one way to measure intelligence, it doesn't capture skills like creativity, emotional understanding, or physical abilities. Some of the most successful people in history, think Steve Jobs, Walt Disney, or Richard Branson, didn't do well in traditional school settings, yet they were undeniably brilliant. And here's a big one: you lose your intelligence as you get older. Not necessarily. While certain cognitive functions can decline with age, others, like wisdom, emotional intelligence, and verbal skills, often improve. And thanks to neuroplasticity, older adults can still grow and adapt their minds with the right mental exercises. The brain that made history, Albert Einstein's brain. Speaking of brains, let's talk about one of the most famous ones in history, Albert Einstein's. After his death, his brain was preserved and studied to see what made him so brilliant. What researchers found was that his brain had more glial cells, which support and protect neurons, in areas related to complex thinking and imagination. Another interesting discovery was that the part of his brain responsible for spatial reasoning and mathematical thought was unusually large. This supports the idea that different brains are wired in unique ways to excel in different areas. So, while Einstein's brain was exceptional in some aspects, it doesn't mean that it's the only kind of smart out there. Exercise. Create a mind map. Now, let's put your brain to work. Grab a piece of paper and draw a circle in the middle. Write "my knowledge" inside it. From there, draw lines out to other circles, each representing a subject you know something about, like music, sports, technology, or cooking. Next, add sub-branches to each subject with specific things you know, like play guitar or know 3 cooking recipes. Once you're done, take a look at your mind map. What do you notice? Are there areas you want to expand? New subjects you'd like to add? Creating a mind map like this helps you visually see what you know and what you'd like to learn more about. It's a great way to identify strengths and areas for growth, and it's the first step in planning your journey to becoming smarter. As Plutarch once said, "The mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled." Think of intelligence as an ever-evolving journey, not a final destination. Keep feeding your mind, challenging your brain, and embracing all the different ways you can be smart. With every new piece of knowledge, skill, or experience, you're lighting up your mind's fire, and that's the true essence of becoming smarter. Chapter 2: Mental Fitness, Cultivating a Growth Mindset. Imagine your mind is like a garden. If you keep nurturing it, pulling out the weeds of negativity, and feeding it with new knowledge and experiences, it will flourish and grow. But if you neglect it, the weeds of doubt and fear take over. This is where a growth mindset comes in. It's like being a dedicated gardener of your own mind, believing that your abilities and intelligence can develop over time with effort and perseverance. So, how do you develop this mindset? And why does it matter? Let's dive in and find out how cultivating a growth mindset can change your life. Fixed versus growth mindset, Carol Dweck's theory. Psychologist Carol Dweck introduced the concept of the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. People with a fixed mindset believe that intelligence and talent are static. In other words, you're either born smart or not, talented or not. If they fail at something, they think, "I'm just not good at this," and often give up. On the flip side, people with a growth mindset believe that intelligence and abilities can be developed with time, effort, and persistence. If they fail at something, they think, "I'm not good at this yet," and view it as a learning opportunity. They understand that the brain is like a muscle, strengthened through continuous exercise and challenges. Fun fact: a study conducted with middle school students showed that those who were taught about the brain's ability to grow and adapt actually performed better academically compared to those who weren't taught about it. The mere knowledge that they could get smarter by working at it helped them improve. Embracing failure as a learning tool. Let's talk about something everyone loves to avoid: failure. Most people see failure as a bad thing, something to be ashamed of, or something that proves they aren't good enough. But what if we told you that failure is actually one of the most powerful learning tools you have? Think about it this way. When you try something new and fail, your brain receives feedback about what doesn't work. This feedback helps you adjust your approach, try again, and get closer to the right solution. It's like playing a video game. If you fail a level, you don't throw the controller out the window and give up forever. Well, at least most of us don't. Instead, you analyze what went wrong, learn from it, and try again until you beat the level. Historical anecdote: Thomas Edison's light bulb experiment. One of the best examples of embracing failure comes from Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb. Edison didn't get it right the first time, or the 100th time, or the 1000th time. In fact, he tried over 1,000 different materials and methods before finally finding the right one that would work for a light bulb. When someone asked him about his countless failures, Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His mindset was the perfect example of seeing failure not as the end, but as a step towards success. This persistence is what a growth mindset is all about. When you see failure as feedback, you remove the fear and self-judgment that often comes with it, making it much easier to keep moving forward. The role of perseverance and grit. Grit is like the backbone of a growth mindset. It's the ability to stick with something long enough to see it through, no matter how difficult it gets. Angela Duckworth, a psychologist and researcher, describes grit as the passion and perseverance for long-term goals. According to her research, grit is often a better predictor of success than talent or IQ. Let's say you're learning a new skill, like playing the guitar. In the beginning, your fingers hurt, you hit the wrong notes, and you get frustrated. But if you have grit, you'll push through these initial struggles. Eventually, what felt like an impossible task becomes second nature. So, the next time you're tempted to quit, remind yourself of the power of grit. The more you persevere, the more you'll grow. The power of yet. Here's a little word that can make a big difference: yet. It's a game changer for anyone trying to develop a growth mindset. Instead of saying, "I can't do it," you say, "I can't do it yet." This small shift in language helps your brain see the potential for improvement rather than a dead end. Let's take an example. If you say, "I'm not good at math," your brain thinks it's a permanent state. But if you say, "I'm not good at math yet," it leaves room for growth and the possibility that you will get better with time and practice. Adding yet to your thoughts and speech turns obstacles into challenges you can overcome. It's like flipping a switch in your mind that opens the door to new possibilities. Exercise: reframing failures. Now, let's do a quick exercise to strengthen your growth mindset muscles. Think about 3 instances in your life when you saw failure as the end. Maybe you didn't get that job you wanted, or you struggled to learn a new skill, or a project you worked hard on didn't go as planned. Write down each instance and then reframe it using the growth mindset approach. For example, instead of saying, "I failed that test, so I must not be good at this subject," reframe it as, "I didn't pass the test this time, but it showed me what areas I need to focus on to improve." Reflect on what you learned from each situation. Was there a skill you developed, or a new strategy you found? Did you discover a hidden strength or a better approach? Write these lessons down as reminders that failure is just a stepping stone on the path to success. Cultivating a growth mindset is like tending to a garden. You have to water it with positive thoughts, pull out the weeds like self-doubt and fear, and give it plenty of sunshine, encouragement, and perseverance. It won't happen overnight, but with time and patience, you'll see your efforts blossom into new skills, knowledge, and abilities you never thought possible. Remember Henry Ford's wise words: "Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right." The way you view your abilities directly impacts what you can achieve. Choose to believe in your potential, embrace challenges, learn from failures, and watch yourself grow in ways you never imagined. Keep nurturing your garden of the mind, and you'll be amazed at how far you can go. Chapter 3: Enhancing Cognitive Function. Daily Habits for a Sharper Mind. Imagine your brain as a high-performance sports car. It's powerful, capable, and can get you where you want to go in life, if you take care of it. But neglect it, feed it the wrong fuel, or let it sit idle, and it's going to sputter and underperform. The good news is that keeping your brain in top shape doesn't require a PhD in neuroscience or complicated rituals. It's all about incorporating a few simple, daily habits that will help you think clearer, remember more, and even feel happier. Ready to unlock your brain's full potential? Let's dive in. Foods that boost brain power. Ever hear the saying, "You are what you eat"? Well, it turns out your brain is what you eat too. What you put on your plate has a big impact on how well your brain functions. Foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids like salmon, walnuts, and chia seeds are like premium oil for that high-performance car. They help build and repair brain cells and can even improve memory and cognitive function. But omega-3s are just the beginning. Antioxidants, found in berries like blueberries, strawberries, and raspberries, are brain-protecting superheroes. They combat oxidative stress, a fancy way of saying brain rust, and reduce inflammation, which can slow down cognitive decline. For a little extra boost, add in leafy greens like spinach or kale. These veggies are packed with vitamins E and K, folate, and beta-carotene, all of which have been linked to slowing down brain aging. And don't forget dark chocolate. Yep, you heard that right. Dark chocolate, the higher the cocoa content, the better, contains flavonoids, which can enhance memory, focus, and overall cognitive function. Here's a quick shopping list for brain-friendly foods. Salmon, sardines, or mackerel for omega-3s. Blueberries, blackberries, or raspberries for antioxidants. Spinach, kale, or broccoli for essential vitamins. Walnuts or almonds for healthy fats. Dark chocolate because yum and brain health. Physical exercise and its impact on brain health. Let's get moving. Physical exercise is not just for getting a six-pack or staying fit, it's also one of the best things you can do for your brain. When you exercise, your heart pumps more oxygen-rich blood to your brain, and your body releases a bunch of chemicals called neurotrophic factors. These are like fertilizers for your brain cells, helping them grow, repair, and thrive. But it's not just about pumping iron or running marathons. Even light aerobic exercise like brisk walking, dancing, or yoga can have a huge impact on brain health. In fact, a study by the University of British Columbia found that regular aerobic exercise increases the size of the hippocampus, the part of your brain involved in verbal memory and learning. So every time you go for a jog or hit the gym, you're literally growing your brain. Exercise also boosts mood, reduces stress, and enhances creativity. Ever notice how some of your best ideas come to you when you're on a walk or exercising? That's because physical movement increases the brain's production of dopamine and serotonin, which are chemicals that make you feel good and think clearly. The goal is to get at least 30 minutes of moderate exercise most days of the week. It could be a morning run, an evening yoga session, or even dancing around the house. Just get your body moving, and your brain will thank you. The importance of quality sleep for memory consolidation. Raise your hand if you've ever pulled an all-nighter and then felt like a zombie the next day. Yep, we've all been there. But lack of sleep does more than make you feel groggy. It actually messes with your brain's ability to store and recall information. Here's how it works. When you sleep, your brain doesn't just shut down. It goes into cleaning mode. During deep sleep, your brain clears out toxins, consolidates memories, and makes space for new information. Think of it as hitting the save button on everything you learned and experienced that day. Without enough sleep, it's like trying to cram information into a messy, cluttered closet. Things get lost, connections get fuzzy, and it becomes much harder to remember things. So, how much sleep do you need? The magic number is usually around 7 to 9 hours a night. Establish a regular sleep schedule, create a relaxing bedtime routine, and make your bedroom a comfortable screen-free zone. Your brain will operate at peak performance when it's well rested. Meditation and mindfulness practices. Let's talk about mindfulness and meditation, two powerful tools to sharpen your mind. Meditation isn't just for monks on mountaintops. It's a practice anyone can do to train the mind to focus, reduce stress, and enhance mental clarity. Studies show that regular meditation actually changes the structure of the brain. It increases gray matter in the prefrontal cortex, responsible for decision-making and attention, and decreases the size of the amygdala, the area associated with fear and stress. This means less anxiety and sharper concentration. And you don't need hours of meditation to see results. Even just 10 minutes of daily meditation can improve focus and memory. Try simple breathing exercises, mindfulness practices like paying attention to your senses, or guided meditations using apps like Headspace or Calm. Exercise. Create a brain-boosting routine. Okay, time to put it all together. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to create a brain-boosting routine for the next week. Here's what it should include. Balanced diet. Include at least one brain-friendly food at each meal. For example, add berries to your breakfast, leafy greens to your lunch, and a piece of dark chocolate for dessert. 30 minutes of physical exercise. Pick an activity you enjoy: walking, jogging, dancing, or yoga. Move your body and get your heart pumping. 10 minutes of meditation. Set aside a few quiet minutes each day to meditate, focus on your breath, or practice mindfulness. Write down your progress each day and reflect on how you feel. Are you thinking more clearly? Is your memory sharper? Do you feel more energetic or creative? This routine is your starting point to a healthier, sharper mind. When it comes to enhancing cognitive function, small daily habits make a big difference. Eating the right foods, getting regular exercise, prioritizing quality sleep, and practicing mindfulness are like giving your brain the royal treatment. These habits aren't difficult to incorporate, but they have a massive impact on how you think, learn, and remember. Remember the wise words of Jim Rohn: take care of your body. It's the only place you have to live. By taking care of your brain through these simple daily habits, you're giving yourself the best chance to think clearer, learn faster, and be more creative, so you can tackle whatever life throws your way. Ready to give your brain a boost? Start today. Chapter 4: Building Knowledge. Expanding your intellectual horizons. Picture this: your brain is like a giant library filled with books that represent all the things you know. Every time you learn something new, it's like adding a new book to that library. Some people fill their libraries with a variety of books, novels, history, science, languages, while others leave shelves empty or only read the same few books over and over. Which one would you rather have? If you want a library that's bursting with knowledge and ideas, then it's time to start expanding your intellectual horizons. This chapter is all about becoming a lifelong learner, venturing into new fields, and developing new skills. Let's explore some fun and engaging ways to build your personal knowledge library. The importance of reading: fiction versus nonfiction. Let's start with the good old habit of reading. There's a reason why so many successful people, from Elon Musk to Oprah Winfrey, are avid readers. Reading is like a superpower for your brain. It introduces you to new perspectives, boosts your vocabulary, enhances your focus, and even strengthens your empathy. But should you stick to just nonfiction, or is there value in reading fiction as well? Nonfiction books are packed with information and teach you about real-world events, people, and concepts. They're great for gaining specific knowledge, like learning about history, understanding business strategies, or diving into psychology. Fiction, on the other hand, helps you understand emotions, human behavior, and different cultures. It stimulates your imagination and helps you see the world from multiple perspectives. Research has even shown that reading fiction can improve your emotional intelligence and empathy, making you a better communicator and problem solver. The key is to have a mix of both. Think of nonfiction as your brain's workout routine, while fiction is its relaxation therapy. Balance your reading diet by including biographies, self-help books, science, and history, along with novels and stories that transport you to other worlds. Tip: not sure where to start? Set a goal to read one nonfiction and one fiction book each month. By the end of the year, you'll have 24 new books in your library. Learning new skills, languages, instruments, and hobbies. Ever wanted to speak a new language, play the guitar, or bake the perfect chocolate cake? Learning a new skill is like opening a new wing in your mental library. It creates new connections in your brain and keeps you mentally agile. Languages. Learning a new language is one of the best workouts for your brain. It improves your memory, enhances your multitasking skills, and even delays cognitive decline. Plus, it opens up new cultural experiences and the ability to connect with more people. Instruments. Learning to play an instrument taps into different areas of your brain, including those responsible for coordination, memory, and creativity. It's like giving your brain a full-body workout. Hobbies. Whether it's painting, gardening, or photography, hobbies stimulate creativity and problem-solving skills. They can also be a great stress reliever and a source of joy. Fun fact: people who regularly engage in learning new skills show increased brain plasticity, meaning their brains are better at adapting and forming new neural connections. Utilizing technology for learning. Podcasts, audiobooks, and online courses. Let's face it, life is busy, and finding time to sit down and read or take a class can be tough. Luckily, technology makes it easier than ever to keep learning, even when you're on the go. Podcasts. There are podcasts for nearly every topic under the sun: science, history, self-improvement, and even niche hobbies. Podcasts are perfect for turning your commute, workout, or chores into learning sessions. Audiobooks. If you struggle to find time to read, audiobooks are a fantastic alternative. Listen to a book while driving or doing mundane tasks. It's an efficient way to get through more books each year. Online courses. Platforms like Coursera, Udemy, and Skillshare offer thousands of courses on everything from data science to creative writing. You can learn at your own pace and even earn certifications to add to your resume. Pro tip: schedule learning time into your day just like you would a meeting or a workout. Even dedicating just 20 minutes each day to a podcast or an online course can make a huge difference over time. The Socratic method: asking questions to gain deeper understanding. One of the most powerful tools for expanding your knowledge is also one of the simplest: asking questions. The ancient Greek philosopher Socrates believed that asking thoughtful questions could lead to deeper understanding and greater self-awareness. This is known as the Socratic method, and it's still used today in classrooms, business meetings, and therapy sessions. The idea is to question assumptions, explore different perspectives, and dig deeper into the why behind what you're learning. For example, instead of just accepting a fact like exercise is good for your brain, ask questions like: why is exercise good for the brain? What types of exercise have the most benefits? How do these benefits change with age? By using this method, you're not just memorizing facts, you're actively engaging with information and making it your own. Historical anecdote: Benjamin Franklin's lifelong commitment to learning. One of history's most famous lifelong learners was Benjamin Franklin. Born into a modest family, Franklin had very little formal education. But that didn't stop him from becoming a writer, inventor, diplomat, and one of the founding fathers of the United States. Franklin was constantly learning and experimenting. He founded the Junto, a discussion group for self-improvement, where members debated topics like philosophy, politics, and business. He also established the first public library in America so that others could access books and expand their knowledge. Franklin's dedication to self-improvement serves as a powerful reminder that it's never too late to learn something new. He believed that education and self-improvement were lifelong pursuits, and he lived his life accordingly. Exercise: commit to learning one new skill this month. Ready to put all this into action? Pick one new skill you've always wanted to learn and commit to it for a month. It could be learning a new language, starting a blog, practicing photography, or mastering a new recipe. Break it down into daily tasks. For example, Week 1, research the basics. Read articles, watch YouTube tutorials, or listen to a podcast about the topic. Week 2, start practicing the skill for at least 15 minutes a day. Week 3, challenge yourself by trying a more advanced version of the skill. For example, if you're learning to play the guitar, try learning a song. Week 4, reflect on what you've learned, refine your technique, and set new goals for the next month. Write down your progress and celebrate small wins. The goal isn't to become an expert in a month, it's to develop the habit of learning and growing. As Dr. Seuss said, the more that you read, the more things you will know. The more that you learn, the more places you'll go. When you make lifelong learning a habit, your world expands. You see connections between different subjects, understand people and cultures better, and even discover new passions you didn't know you had. So, what will you add to your mental library next? The possibilities are endless. Keep learning, keep exploring, and keep adding new books to your library of life. Chapter 5: Critical Thinking and Problem Solving, Becoming a Logical Genius. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you just can't seem to find a solution to a problem, no matter how hard you think? Maybe it's deciding whether to switch careers, figuring out how to save more money, or even solving a tricky puzzle. The good news is that you can train your brain to tackle problems like a pro by sharpening your critical thinking skills. Critical thinking isn't just for philosophers or rocket scientists, it's for everyone. It's the ability to objectively analyze a situation, consider multiple perspectives, and arrive at the best possible solution. This chapter will show you how to master the art of questioning, identify biases, and use creative problem-solving techniques that will turn you into a logical genius. The art of questioning, Socratic and lateral thinking. First things first, let's talk about the power of questions. Asking the right questions is the foundation of critical thinking. When you question assumptions, explore alternatives, and seek deeper understanding, you're opening the door to new insights. Socratic thinking, digging deep with why questions. The Socratic method is all about asking a series of questions to dissect a topic or problem. Named after the ancient Greek philosopher Socrates, this method encourages you to challenge assumptions and consider different angles. For example, let's say you're thinking, I'm not good at public speaking. Instead of accepting that as a fact, ask yourself, why do I believe that? What evidence supports it? What evidence contradicts it? Is it possible that I can improve with practice? How would I feel if I became more confident at public speaking? By questioning your initial thought, you break it down and open up possibilities for change. This method not only helps you see the bigger picture, but also forces you to confront any limiting beliefs. Lateral thinking, thinking outside the box. While Socratic thinking is about digging deeper, lateral thinking is about looking sideways, seeing what others might miss. It's a term coined by Edward de Bono that means solving problems through an indirect, creative approach. Here's a classic example. Imagine you're in a room with a table, a candle, some matches, and a box of thumbtacks. Your challenge is to fix the candle to the wall so it doesn't drip wax on the table. Most people try to pin the candle to the wall directly or use the wax as glue. But the solution is to empty the thumbtacks from the box, tack the box to the wall, and use it as a holder for the candle. This kind of solution comes from thinking laterally, seeing the thumbtack box not just as a container but as a tool. Lateral thinking exercises can be as simple as finding multiple uses for an object, or considering what would happen if you reversed a situation. They're great for breaking out of rigid thinking patterns. Analyzing information, biases, and logical fallacies. Now, let's move on to analyzing information. In today's world, we're bombarded with tons of information, but not all of it is reliable. That's where critical thinking helps. You learn to separate fact from fiction and avoid falling into common thinking traps. Understanding biases. Biases are like sneaky little shortcuts your brain takes, often without you realizing it. They can cloud your judgment and lead to poor decisions. Here are a few to watch out for. Confirmation bias. This is when you seek out information that supports your existing beliefs and ignore anything that contradicts them. Anchoring bias. This occurs when you rely too heavily on the first piece of information you get, the anchor, and let it influence your subsequent judgments. Availability bias. This happens when you overestimate the importance of information that's readily available, like news stories or recent experiences. Being aware of these biases is the first step to overcoming them. When you catch yourself falling into a bias trap, take a step back and ask, am I considering all perspectives or just the ones that align with my existing views? Spotting logical fallacies. Logical fallacies are errors in reasoning that can weaken your argument or lead to faulty conclusions. Here are some common ones. Ad hominem, attacking the person instead of the argument. Example, you can't trust his opinion on finance, he's terrible with money. Straw man, misrepresenting someone's argument to make it easier to attack. Example, she says we should be more mindful of our spending, but she just wants us to stop enjoying life. False dilemma, presenting only two options when there are more possibilities. Example, either you support this policy or you don't care about the environment. By recognizing these fallacies, you can build stronger arguments and avoid being misled by faulty reasoning. Creative problem-solving techniques. Critical thinking is more than just being logical, it's also about being creative. Here are some techniques to help you solve problems creatively. Brainstorming. When faced with a problem, don't limit yourself to the first solution that comes to mind. Write down as many ideas as you can, no matter how wild they seem. Quantity is more important than quality at this stage. Once you have a long list, evaluate each idea based on its feasibility and impact. Mind mapping. A mind map is a visual representation of your thoughts. Start with your main problem in the center and draw branches for different aspects or potential solutions. This helps you see the connections between ideas and can spark new ones. Reverse thinking. Instead of asking, how can I solve this problem, ask, how could I create this problem? For example, if you're trying to improve customer satisfaction, ask, how can I make customers really unhappy? This might reveal practices or gaps you hadn't considered. Decision-making frameworks. Once you've brainstormed and analyzed, it's time to make a decision. Here are some frameworks to help. Pros and cons list. It's simple but effective. Write down the advantages and disadvantages of each option. Sometimes seeing it on paper clarifies things you hadn't noticed before. SWOT analysis. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Use this framework to evaluate your options by considering internal factors, strengths and weaknesses, and external factors, opportunities and threats. It's great for making big decisions like starting a new project or changing career paths. Fun fact: Leonardo da Vinci and the power of curiosity. Leonardo da Vinci is known as one of history's greatest minds, and his secret weapon was curiosity. His notebooks are filled with questions about everything from how birds fly to why the sky is blue. This relentless questioning fueled his inventions and discoveries. Leonardo's example shows that nurturing curiosity is key to becoming a better problem solver and thinker. Exercise. Solve a real-world problem using multiple approaches. Choose a real-world problem you're currently facing, whether it's personal or professional. List multiple approaches using the techniques mentioned: Socratic questioning, lateral thinking, brainstorming, and SWOT analysis. Write down each approach and evaluate its effectiveness. Which one seems the most promising? Why? This exercise will help you see that there's never just one way to solve a problem. Critical thinking isn't just about solving problems, it's a way of approaching the world with curiosity, open-mindedness, and a willingness to challenge your own assumptions. By mastering these skills, you'll become a more effective decision-maker, a better problem solver, and, yes, even a logical genius. So keep questioning, keep exploring, and watch your brain's problem-solving powers reach new heights. Chapter 6: Emotional Intelligence. Mastering the Heart and Mind Connection. Ever wonder why some people just seem to get others? They can walk into a room and instantly pick up on the mood. Or maybe you know someone who stays calm and composed no matter how chaotic things get around them. These folks aren't necessarily born with a special talent. They've developed their emotional intelligence, or EQ. Emotional intelligence is about understanding your own emotions, managing them, and also tuning into the feelings of others. It's not about being overly emotional or suppressing emotions, It's about connecting the heart and mind to make better decisions, build stronger relationships, and thrive in both personal and professional settings. So, what makes EQ so powerful? Let's explore its magic and see how you can strengthen this vital skill set. What is emotional intelligence anyway? Simply put, emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions, while also being able to recognize, understand, and influence the emotions of others. It's often broken down into four main components. Self-awareness, understanding your own emotions and how they impact your thoughts and actions. Self-regulation, managing your emotions in healthy ways, especially during stressful situations. Social awareness, sensing others' emotions, empathizing, and understanding social dynamics. Relationship management, using your understanding of emotions to communicate effectively and build strong relationships. You can think of it as a dance between the head and the heart, each one influencing and complementing the other. Self-awareness and self-regulation. Let's start with the first piece of the puzzle, self-awareness. Self-awareness is like having a personal GPS for your emotions. When you're self-aware, you can recognize when you're feeling angry, sad, frustrated, or excited, and understand why those emotions are bubbling up. You're not just reacting blindly, you're consciously observing your feelings and their triggers. Example: imagine you're getting annoyed because your coworker keeps interrupting you during meetings. If you're self-aware, you might realize that your irritation is actually tied to a fear of not being heard or valued. With this awareness, you can address the root cause rather than snapping at your coworker. Once you're aware of your emotions, the next step is self-regulation, learning to manage them effectively. It's not about suppressing your feelings, but rather channeling them in a productive way. If you're angry, you might take a deep breath, step back, and wait until you're calmer to respond. If you're feeling nervous before a presentation, you might use positive self-talk to boost your confidence. Quick tip for self-regulation: practice the pause button. Before reacting emotionally, pause for 10 seconds. Ask yourself, how do I want to respond to this? This simple habit can transform your interactions. Empathy and understanding others' emotions. Empathy is like your emotional Wi-Fi connection to other people. It allows you to pick up on the emotions of those around you and respond with understanding and care. Without empathy, it's like navigating a dark room without a flashlight. You're bound to bump into misunderstandings and conflicts. But empathy isn't just about feeling sorry for someone or agreeing with them. It's about putting yourself in their shoes and truly feeling what they might be experiencing. This makes people feel valued, heard, and understood. Fun fact: did you know that empathy is contagious? When you empathize with someone, your brain's mirror neurons activate, creating a kind of emotional resonance. This makes the other person feel connected and more likely to open up. Historical anecdote: take Mahatma Gandhi, for example. He led India's nonviolent movement by deeply understanding the pain and suffering of the people. He didn't impose his own ideas. Instead, he connected with their emotions, listened to their struggles, and used that empathy to inspire a collective sense of purpose. This ability to empathize made him not just a leader, but a guiding force for change. Practice empathy. The next time you're in a conversation, focus on active listening. Don't interrupt, don't plan your response while they're speaking, just listen. Then reflect back what you heard with phrases like, "It sounds like you're feeling," or "I can see why that would be difficult." This simple act can transform any interaction. Managing stress and negative emotions. Let's face it, stress is inevitable. But how you handle stress makes all the difference. Emotional intelligence doesn't mean you never feel stressed. It means you've developed strategies to manage it in a healthy way. Try this technique, the 4-7-8 breathing exercise. When you feel overwhelmed, take a moment to breathe deeply. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 7 seconds, and then exhale through your mouth for 8 seconds. This slows your heart rate and calms your nervous system, helping you regain emotional balance. Another powerful tool is reframing. Let's say you're feeling anxious about a big project. Instead of thinking, I'm so stressed, I can't handle this, reframe it as, I'm excited for the challenge and this is a chance to grow. This shift in perspective can transform how you experience stress. Building stronger relationships through effective communication. Effective communication is the glue that holds relationships together, whether it's with friends, family, or colleagues. And the secret sauce to great communication: emotional intelligence. When you understand your own emotions and can pick up on others' feelings, you become a better communicator. You're able to express yourself clearly without letting your emotions take over, and you're also able to read between the lines of what others are saying. Tips for better communication. Use I statements. Instead of saying you never listen, try, I feel unheard when we talk. This focuses on your feelings without blaming the other person. Ask open-ended questions. These encourage deeper conversations. Instead of, did you have a good day? Ask, what was the highlight of your day? Validate emotions. Acknowledge the other person's feelings, even if you don't agree with them. Say things like, I can see how you'd feel that way, to show understanding. Fun fact: EQ versus IQ in predicting success. Believe it or not, studies have shown that emotional intelligence, EQ, is a better predictor of success in many professions than traditional intelligence, IQ. While IQ might help you solve complex problems, EQ helps you build relationships, lead teams, and navigate social environments, all crucial skills for long-term success. Exercise, active listening practice. Find a friend or colleague and have a conversation where your only goal is to listen actively. Avoid interrupting or offering solutions. Instead, ask questions that show you're engaged, like, how did that make you feel, or what do you think you'll do next? Afterward, write down what you learned about their emotions and thoughts. Reflect on how this new awareness could enhance your relationship. Final thoughts: the power of EQ. As David Caruso wisely said, emotional intelligence is not the opposite of intelligence. It is not the triumph of heart over head. It is the unique intersection of both. Developing your emotional intelligence is like mastering the art of living. It helps you understand yourself better, connect with others more deeply, and navigate life's ups and downs with grace and resilience. So don't just train your mind, train your heart too. With emotional intelligence, you'll find that life becomes richer, relationships become stronger, and you'll be equipped to handle whatever challenges come your way. Chapter 7: Strategic Thinking, Planning for Long-Term Growth. Imagine you're on a journey through a vast and uncharted territory. You have a general sense of where you want to go, but without a map or compass, you might wander aimlessly or get stuck in the same spot. Strategic thinking is like having that map and compass. It's what helps you set long-term goals, anticipate obstacles, and navigate through complex situations, no matter what surprises come your way. Whether you're aiming for a promotion, planning to start a business, or simply wanting to achieve a personal milestone, developing strategic thinking skills is key to getting where you want to go. Let's dive into how you can become a master strategist and turn your goals into reality. Setting smart goals, your roadmap to success. You've probably heard of setting goals before, but have you heard of SMART goals? SMART is an acronym that stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Setting SMART goals is like giving your aspirations a detailed set of instructions, so you know exactly what you're aiming for and how to get there. Breaking down SMART goals. Specific. Be clear about what you want to achieve. Instead of saying, I want to get fit, say, I want to run a 5K marathon in 6 months. Measurable. Include numbers or milestones to track your progress. For example, I want to increase my savings by $5,000 this year. Achievable. Make sure your goal is realistic given your current resources and constraints. I want to become fluent in Spanish in 6 months is less achievable than, I want to complete a beginner Spanish course in 6 months. Relevant. Your goal should align with your broader life or career objectives. If you want to be a graphic designer, a goal like learn Photoshop is more relevant than take cooking classes. Time-bound. Set a deadline. Deadlines create urgency and keep you motivated. For example, I will finish my novel by December 31st. Example: SMART goal. Let's say your long-term goal is to launch an online store. A SMART version of this goal could be, I will launch an online store with 10 products by June 30th, focusing on handmade jewelry, and achieve $1,000 in sales within the first 3 months. When your goal is SMART, it becomes less of a vague dream and more of a concrete action plan. Scenario planning and strategic foresight. Life doesn't always go according to plan. That's why strategic thinkers don't just set one rigid plan, they prepare for multiple scenarios. Scenario planning is like creating a set of what-if stories that help you anticipate different outcomes and prepare for them. How to do scenario planning. Identify your goal. Start with your main objective. Let's say you want to open a restaurant. List key factors. Think about factors that could influence your goal, like competition, customer preferences, or economic conditions. Create scenarios. Develop different scenarios based on these factors. For example, best case scenario: your restaurant becomes the go-to place in town, profits soar, and you're looking to open a second location within a year. Worst case scenario: a new competitor opens nearby, foot traffic is low, and you struggle to break even. Middle ground: you build a steady customer base but need to tweak your menu and marketing to stay competitive. Develop strategies for each scenario. Think about how you would respond in each case. In the worst case scenario, maybe you'd offer special promotions or add a delivery service to attract more customers. By visualizing different scenarios, you're not caught off guard by sudden changes. Instead, you have strategies in place, making you more adaptable and resilient. The role of patience and persistence in achieving success. Strategic thinking isn't just about having a plan, it's also about being patient and persistent in executing it. Imagine you've planted a tree. You water it, provide it with sunlight, and watch over it. But no matter how much you want it to grow faster, it will only bear fruit in its own time. Success is often the same way. Patience helps you stick to your long-term goals, even when progress seems slow or invisible. Persistence keeps you moving forward, even when you hit setbacks or obstacles. When you combine the two, you become unstoppable. Tips for practicing patience and persistence. Break it down. Focus on small daily actions rather than the end goal. This keeps you from feeling overwhelmed. Celebrate small wins. Recognize and celebrate small milestones along the way. This keeps motivation high. Remind yourself of your why. When you feel discouraged, reconnect with the reason you set the goal in the first place. Learning from setbacks and revising strategies. No matter how well you plan, you're going to encounter setbacks. Maybe your new business didn't take off as quickly as you hoped, or your book project hit a creative wall. This is where strategic thinkers shine, by viewing setbacks as learning opportunities, not failures. How to learn from setbacks. Analyze what went wrong. Was it a lack of preparation, unforeseen circumstances, or simply bad timing? Identify the root cause. Adjust your strategy based on what you learned. Tweak your approach. Maybe you need to change your marketing strategy or pivot to a new product. Seek feedback. Get input from mentors, colleagues, or even customers. Fresh perspectives can offer solutions you hadn't considered. Stay resilient. Remember, setbacks are a normal part of the journey. The key is to keep going, armed with new insights. Historical anecdote: Winston Churchill's strategic mindset during World War II. One of history's most famous strategic thinkers was Winston Churchill, the Prime Minister of Britain during World War II. When Germany began its relentless bombing campaign on London, known as the Blitz, Churchill had to quickly adapt his strategy. Instead of focusing on just defense, he shifted gears and inspired the British people to keep their spirits high, turning resilience into a weapon. Churchill understood that winning the war wasn't just about military strength, it was also about psychological strength. He used powerful speeches to unite and motivate the nation, creating a sense of shared purpose and determination. His strategic thinking wasn't limited to battle plans. It extended to rallying a nation through one of its darkest times. Churchill's ability to remain adaptable, revise strategies, and inspire others through words and actions made him a master strategist. As Dwight D. Eisenhower said, plans are nothing, planning is everything. This means that while plans may need to change, the act of planning prepares you to handle whatever comes your way. Exercise: developing your strategic plan. Write down a long-term goal. Choose a personal or professional goal you'd like to achieve in the next 1 to 3 years. Break it down. Divide the goal into smaller, actionable steps. For example, if your goal is to become a software developer, your steps might include learn the basics of programming, build a personal project, and apply for internships. Identify potential obstacles. Think about what could get in your way. Is it time management? Financial constraints? Lack of experience? Create strategies to overcome obstacles. Develop a plan for each obstacle. For example, if time is an issue, plan to set aside 1 hour each evening for learning. Review and revise. Set a schedule to review your progress, e.g., monthly or quarterly. Adjust your strategies based on what's working and what's not. Final thoughts. Strategic thinking for a successful future. Strategic thinking is more than just planning ahead. It's about being flexible, learning from setbacks, and having the persistence to see things through. With smart goals, scenario planning, and the willingness to adapt, you'll be prepared to tackle whatever challenges come your way and achieve long-term growth. So, grab that metaphorical map and compass, set your course, and keep moving forward. With strategic thinking, you're not just reacting to life's twists and turns, you're proactively shaping your own path.